Hello everybody, Corey here. I know I didn't do the Friday videos or even the weekly roundup for that matter. Of course, I have the spreadsheets and everything. I just didn't get around to doing the videos. And then Sunday, when I did have a little bit of time to work spreadsheets, I was trying to spend that time trying to make my workbook a little better to make things update quicker because I couldn't get the holdings to update from Friday. And then of course I did this and then I didn't get this video out. So what I decided to do was start with, which is, at least half of the weekly roundup, which includes like estimates and things. And I want to go ahead and get this done. As I'm doing this, I'm already seeing issues like I'm missing ABNY APNY, so I'm missing even the new one on here. But I wanted to go ahead and get us started, as I know we will have distributions announced, declaration next week. Let me make sure, looking at a calendar. Yes, next week. So that's why I was working on this weekend and then didn't spend that time doing the videos because I was working on the sheet. But like I said, I noticed ABN ABNY isn't here, so I will add that. Of course, I don't know how long it's been out, if they will even have a distribution. I know I need to add DIPS and fiat, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to have a distribution either, so I just... I honestly just didn't do it. I might have added the columns down here. I just added that other one. I didn't because I figured there was no distribution yet. But yeah, and then we'll see what else I might see as we go through here. And then, as most of you know, I will explain through this first video for those of you that are new. I will tell you that if you've been watching these, I know I've talked about it the last couple of months of possibly changing the future distribution formula here, as far as to be based on weekly numbers and not daily, but I haven't done so it's actually going to be the same. So if you're used to these videos and don't care about the explanation, you can go ahead and fast forward on this video, and then of course I will explain all the way through for this first one, AIYY, and then any subsequent videos this week leading up to declaration next week, I will not re-explain. Others will have to come back and watch the beginning of this video. And then these are in alphabetical order, with the exception of, so like crash, I put it right beside Tesla just so I could have them side by side, the Tesla and the crash, and then YBED's at the end, but it's technically that would be alphabetical order anyway. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then of course ABNY here is missing. And then if we go through this, I don't know if I missed another ticker, besides obviously I know DIPS and DIPS and fiat, that's it. Then just point it out to me and I'll make sure I get that added. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get on with explaining at least this first one. And, y'all know I'm not a financial advisor. All I'm doing is gathering the data and presenting it to you, right? So, you know what? Let's start here at the bottom before I forget. This is what I want to do, but I haven't done it yet. This was the last ex-dividend date, which was July 5th, which actually makes this wrong, I realize now, because declaration date's the day before, so this should have actually said 7/3, not the day after, because they declare on 7/3, and assuming that they include up till the day before declaration date, then the earn dates would be starting on declaration date. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to update it for this one. I don't think it's going to make a difference here. I don't think it's going to make enough of a difference for me to redo everything. Let me restate that. So there we go. So the declaration date was on the 3rd. So assuming, you know, the distribution from last month, assuming, sorry, that again, the earnings is up to the day before. And let me go check. I guess I didn't look. Yeah, this I did, and I don't know that I actually ever did the video with everything going on. Yeah. All right. I just want to check just to make sure. And basically what this is at the bottom, it's doing a calculation to see about how much it was a day to try to help estimate that future. So with this saying there was a total of 23 days to earn, and we had completed 18, that would be right. What we have over here says 21 and 16. So basically what that's going to do, it's going to estimate a little bit higher because it's missing a couple of dates. Meaning like here, you know, it may be 67, it may be 66, and you'll understand that in a minute. But this will be fixed for the next date. Sorry, I didn't realize that until we're doing the video right now. But we can see here that there are 23 days in this period. Now we've completed 18. We have 5 left. So we'll have Tuesday through Friday of this week. July 30th is Tuesday, and then through August 5th, which is next Monday, because declaration is on Tuesday. Again, that doesn't mean that's exactly how they do these. I did hear in one of his last interviews, he said calendar month. And so I would have taken that to been end of month, but then we have the other ones like Alti, right? It's in the middle of the month, so would it really be beginning to beginning? So I don't know. I've just left it at this. I could ask Jay. I just have it, and he may or may not answer, right? Because not everything is divulged to the public on exactly how they do calculations. So anyway. So let's take a glance over here. Again, here at the top left, you can see we have declaration date. Next declaration date is August 6th, which is next Tuesday, with the ex-dividend date being August 7th, which is next Wednesday. And then here we'll have the YieldMax ETF, and then we will have the underlying. Right here, we have the outstanding shares as of today, the end of today. So example here, AIYY has 3.45 million outstanding shares. The negative 1% is the percentage that of shares, of the outstanding shares, has decreased in the past month. Well, it's not really the past month, it's since the last, I know I should put notes, little notes here so I could just click them. So in this case, it's probably the last 3 weeks. Let's see. D1 on W2, AA. Oh, I forgot I redid these formulas and stuff. Okay, here we go. So I can look here and see that July 3rd is when the declaration date of last time is what these dates come from. Or not, where these outstanding shares are coming from. Okay. Yeah, so this was as of the end of July 3rd or the beginning of July 5th, the morning of July 5th, which was the ex-dividend date for last month. All right. So since the morning of the ex-dividend date, this is the percentage of the outstanding shares have decreased. Sorry. I feel like I haven't done any videos in forever here, or even done this in forever. Just got to get my bearings back here, make sure. I really hate to state something wrong, unfortunately. I mean, fortunate and unfortunate, like, I don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this, and then it actually be something else. So I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, so it has decreased, AIYY has decreased its outstanding shares by 1% since the last ex-dividend date. And then, of course, here, now we have what the start stock price was as of the ex-dividend date for AIYY, and then as of the end of the day today. Same thing with the underlying. This is where the underlying was and is now. And then this is just going to show you the dollar changes and then the percentage change. Now, this is a negative number, but it's green because it's outperformed or done better than AI, the underlying. So that's the reason that's green. And then this is the ranking on how it ranked. In this case, how it ranked within the other YieldMax ETFs. In this case, how the underlying ranked with the other underlying. So out of the 20-something ETFs, both of these have ranked 18. And then we get down here. These are all the distributions they've done. These are the highest and lowest distributions. So in this case, AIYY, the lowest distribution has been 40 cents, or with a yield of 41%, and its highest payout has been $1.35 with a yield of 84%. So that's just to give you the historical. Now the next three, and I failed to mention why last month I do these, at least I guess up front in the initial videos. But I use these three numbers. So the last month's distribution, the current IV estimate based off the current IV, and then the cents per share, at the time of this, as far as what premium they received for these short calls or short puts. Now, for crash, what this doesn't include, because I didn't think about it till later, it does not include like premium for the long calls. So I should change that at some point. I just haven't right now. And then, so I have been doing this since February, and basically these three factors, these are the three things to look that I have seen, the three best things to look at as far as trying to figure out what the distribution is. Because sometimes YieldMax will do them close to what it was last time. So like if you go back and look at MVDs and you'll look at, like, I think out of 5 months, 4 months, it was almost the same thing. I think it's the same thing with some of the other ones as well. So that's where that can come into play with some of those that are they try to stay consistent with. And then we have an estimate based off the current IB. I have done some tests where I went back and like, okay, well, if their goal was to hit that IB amount every week, and then do the every week, and then it really just wasn't worth my time to do that. It didn't give me better results, or that much better results if it did any, to waste that time doing that. So I just use the current IB, and it gives a current estimate based off. It gives an estimate based off that current IV, and then of course our short calls and short puts, right? The premium, the income they actually received on those. So there's a mixture of these things because these are several of the things that they look at. And so what I do here is, I get these three numbers. You can see them independently here, right? Use all the data here to make your own assumption on what you think the payout will be. But I'm giving you that data so you can do that. And then the next one here, I mean, this is just showing you for those, it's mainly for like the weekly stuff. Most people don't really care when it comes to estimates as far as, what was their net proceeds for all their trades, all the, short call and short put trades, because most people only care about the premium received. And then, of course, what was their trades for all the synthetics. And then the total trades, right? It's going to be the total of these two together. And then, of course, we have the percentages or yields or averages or whatever for all of these. And what I will say, again, I don't know how many are new and how many are old, but sometimes the trades they put out there aren't always 100% accurate, right? Mistakes can be made, things can be pushed, changes could be done, which is after the fact of them being uploaded, right? So we may not capture those. So this data is only as good as the data that I have captured from the website, which may or may not be 100% accurate. Okay, so just keep that in mind, right? This is just all for fun. This is also, though, where you can see the data and give you an idea of the performance of these. Even though it may not be 100% accurate, right, as far as what was pulled from the website, or if I should have missed a day or something and had to, haven't had to do that this month, but if I missed the trades and I had to use the holdings to estimate what the trades were, but I didn't have to do any of those this month. So anyway, using these three, then that would give us a range, right? So 40 to 62 cent range. And then this is an average of those three with an average yield. Now I will say, this is usually not the best thing. Just because I put it averaged here doesn't mean it checks. Like when I do the estimates and then I'll go back after the fact and check, okay, based on the workbook that we had and the numbers we had and the actual distributions, which ones were the best, right? I always look to see, okay, did it match, closer to these? I'm still validating, right? It took me a few months to narrow this down, but I still validate that, okay, this is still similar to what they're using. But usually it's better looking at these versus the average. But I put it there, okay? So just know it's there if you want to look at it to give you an estimate or an average, because you don't want to look at this and come up with a number. It's there. And then that's just based, giving you a yield based on if it was that. Now here at the bottom, the future estimate distribution range, this is where I was talking about. This is based on the number of days. So if they were like 23 days, and it earned a certain dollar amount during those days, so if it's 23 days and we've completed, let's say, 15, how much income did it make or premium in those 15 days? And that would give us an average. And we were like, okay, well, there's 8 days left, and this is the average daily. So that's the way it currently calculates. However, I don't like that, only because, we get to this, the end of this week. Well, most of their trades are on Thursdays and Fridays. So if we still had 3 days next week, which we don't, but if we had 3 days next week, using that daily average would make sense, because if they make all most of their trades on Thursday and Friday, you're really not getting much Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So then it would make it off. But what I've done to just sort of get away from that is when it gets to that point, I just hide this section just because I haven't updated it. But what I want to do is update this, that it only counts like maybe how many Fridays have been in that period or whatever. Again, that's not how it's currently at. So I just want to give you that information. So here you can see it's giving you a range of 40 to 67, and because it's giving you still that 40 and the 62, but now it's calculating what this could be based on the historical data we just talked about. So in this case, you can tell easily that it's 67 cents is what that's estimating it could be. It doesn't mean it will, and you won't necessarily be able to see it on all of these. But you may. See, like this one, you can't really tell. well, I guess you can because the minimum's 51 and there is no 51. So you know it's at least 67, between 67 and 73 on this one. So, but that just gives you perfect example there. And then again, this is given an average, but now this would be an average based on these two and the projected future short call premium, and then a percentage. Again, this is just giving you data. I try to go through it when I go through the video, and I try to point out some things, at least on the first one, maybe, or maybe not even so much, only because it's time consuming. Right, we have 20 something ETFs, and I know you don't want to sit here and watch these, and you already hate it if you're sitting here having to watch the beginning of this because you've never seen, this before. But I'll go through and read like your ranges and give you an idea, and then I may or may not look at, but you can, right? If you're only looking for a handful of these, you can take time to pause the video and analyze the data. This one's not really a good one for me to point out. But like if this was a huge loss, because it's happened before, if this has lost $3, right? And even if it had earned a bunch of money, it's lost a bunch of money, and there may be some kind of adjustment made based on those different types of things. Or if it's showing an extreme distribution, a lot higher than the normal high, then that may indicate might not go that high or something. So I'll think about it as I go through some of these, and if I, to help show better examples. Like you wouldn't want a one that's lost $3 and then it's going to pay out 2 when it's lost 3. Then you can almost guarantee it's probably not going to pay all that out. But anyway, this down at the bottom is just like some of the raw numbers. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and we'll go through and you'll be able to see all of these on each screen. And then if I do another video after Friday of this estimate, I'll hide this. And so the way this works is I'll normally go through this, because again, these are all calculations based on the numbers. I'm not pulling these numbers out of my head and just saying, oh, I think this is it. You'll know if I do. I'll verbally say it as we go through the video. Or I'll at least point out a few things that I see here, but I'm not just throwing out numbers. So these numbers actually will calculate every single day. It's just a matter of whether I save them and go through them. But what we've historically done, except for maybe while I was in New York or on vacation or whatever this past month or so, is that some people like to follow it each day to see, some of the changes or whatever. So that's what we've done, is when I'm able to, I'll just update it usually every day up until maybe the day before declaration. Only because I tend to I've started not doing the night before the declaration, because by the time I get all the workbooks done and everything done and then the videos done and uploaded, it's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. And at that point, you're going to get distribution announcement just a few hours after that when people wake up, and most people are asleep. So it's almost like, what's the point? And I'm thinking it's a waste of my time. So even though I end up doing the data, and then I feel like I just wasted my time. But anyway, so we're going to get going. I apologize, for you newbies that needed to sit through this. But anyway, so let's get going. So we talked a little bit already about AIYY, some of those numbers at the top. But you can see here we had last month's distribution was 40 cents. Based on current IB of 67%, it estimates an estimate of 62 cents. And then the short call premium received so far, we're looking at about 51 cents a share. So just based on those numbers, that's where we're going to have that current estimated range of 40 to 62 cents with an average of 51 cents. However, I'm not going to read this purple section here. I'll leave it there for you, but I'm going to look at this future estimated distribution because we do still have 5 trading days left, which includes at least one Friday. So if we're looking at a future estimate here, we're looking at a range of 40 to 67 cents with an average of 56 cents. So we'll move on to AMDY. Now, I chose a poor choice of colors at the top because that matches the future estimate color at the bottom, and it has nothing to do with that, just so you know. I really just wanted to make it a different color to remind myself, to tell you that it has earnings this week. So I think I counted, and I think there's 8 of the YieldMax ETFs that have earnings this week. So since I forgot, let me look at those real quick, so I can try to tell you. AMDY, which I should have said this up front because people may have already fast forwarded if they didn't want to look at AMD. But AMD reports tomorrow, Tuesday, after the close of the market, along with Microsoft. And then PayPal. I guess I should just wait and do each one of these with each one, since people may have already fast forwarded and I don't want to miss anything. But AMD tomorrow after the close. So AMDY shares have increased by 11% since last ex-dividend date to a little over 7.8 million outstanding shares. However, this one, along with some of the other chip stocks, has taken a beating. You can see that AMD has lost almost $3, while AMDY has lost almost $3, while AMD has lost 16% here. Therefore, AMD has done better than AMDY this pay period. Then there's the rankings there that I won't read through. But then you have here the historical distributions. We have a low of 44 cents and a high of $1.67. Last month's distribution was 73 cents. Based on current IV, an estimate is 67 cents. Based on the short call premium received so far, we're at 51 cents. Use the calculation for the future range, we're looking at 67 to 73 cents, with an average of 69 cents. All right, if we move on to AMZY. So Amazon has earnings this week. They report Thursday after the close. So Amazon shares have increased by 18% to almost $8.6 million, 8.6 million shares. AMC's lost a little over, $1.33, I guess, or almost $1.40. Amazon has dropped 8%. So you can see that AMC's only dropped 6%, so it's done a little bit better than Amazon. If we go down to distributions, AMZY has historically paid out 37 to 97 cents, with last month's distribution being 77 cents based on the current 43% IV. The distribution is estimated about 75 cents. Short call premium received so far here is only 48 cents. So if you just look at that premium received here showing the estimate. And it's another thing, these distributions and estimates are based on also on the current outstanding shares. So as these outstanding shares go up and down, so will these estimates. So just keep that in mind also. So if we look down at the bottom to the future estimate, it's estimating about a 64 to 77 cent range, which means I guess it's estimating that short call premium to be around 64 cents, maybe, increasing over the next 5 days with an average of 72 cents. All right, so we go on to APLY here. APLY outstanding shares have increased about 10% to 4.85 million outstanding shares. APLY didn't drop too much here. It's down 4%, but Apple is down only 2%. But both of these are ranking number 2, so that's pretty good as far as, the price goes. Historical distribution for APLY has been 17 to 63 cents a share. Last month's distribution was only 32 cents. Estimate based on implied volatility is 43 cents right now. Of course, so here's the problem we have, right, with these is we're going into earnings. So some of these IVs may be elevated more than normal because earnings is coming up, okay? So keep that in mind. All right. So, short call premium received so far is about 31 cents. Future estimated range is 32 to 43 cents with an average of 39 cents. Moving on to CONY, its outstanding shares have increased by 22% since last ex-dividend date to almost 40 million. This stock price has actually gone up. It's only gone up 3% though, while coin has actually gone up 10%. Historical distribution range has been as low as $1.08 up to $2.79. Last month it was at $1.57. Based on the current IV, we're looking at about it's estimating $1.23. And then the short call premium received here shows about 91 cents. So this one, I don't know. So if we look at the bottom, it's saying, that the future estimate range is about $1.20 to $1.57. I mean, that might be about in line, but I feel like I would assume there would have been a lot of fluctuations and a lot of, implied volatility over the last several weeks, especially because I've been watching MicroStrategy and Bitcoin and stuff, so I would think this one would be the same. And the stock has actually increased in price. So it makes me wonder if this distribution could be a little higher than expected. I don't know. We will see, but you would just think that it probably would be higher. With last month being $1.57, maybe it'd be around there again. I don't know. But we will see. So seeing that, this one also has earnings this week, which will also be Thursday after the market with Apple and Amazon. Which then I realize I didn't mention Apple either. So yeah, Apple Thursday. So these 3 in a row, Amazon, Apple, and Coin, all report after the close on Thursday, along with Block, in case I forget that one. Hopefully I remember when we get there. All right, if we move on to DISO. DISO's outstanding shares have increased by 8% to a little over 1.3 million. And they both decreased 6%, but it looks like DISO has done a little better. DISO going down about $1 there. Historical distributions here are 26 to 77 cents, with last month's distribution being 36 cents. Based on the current IV, it's estimating about 50 cents, but the current short call premium received estimate is 32 cents. So when I look down here at the future range, it's saying 36 to 50 cents, which is basically last month's distribution and IV. I don't know. I don't know about the 50-cent IV estimate there, because I don't know. Obviously, we're above the 36 cents. I just don't know if we're that high there as far as actual income goes, you know. And again, 1 month, you know, the majority of the estimates are closer to the last month's distribution, and you know, some months they're closer to. There's been 1 month that it's been, if not two, that they've been closer to the premium, you know. So it's all over the place, but. Anyway, this is what that's looking at with a future average of about 43 cents. So then we have Phoebe. So Meta reports Wednesday after the close. Yeah, so IV's up a little there. But anyway, so Phoebe here, its outstanding shares have increased by 16% to 5.25 million. The stock has dropped. Phoebe has dropped $1.66 or 9%, along with Meta dropping 9%. But apparently Phoebe did a little bit better since it is green. I guess somehow I failed to copy over GDXY. Hold on, let me fix that just so. Next time, let me make sure that these things are anchored. Yeah, that it'll be there. So GDXY's only had one payout, it looks like, and it was last month's. Okay, anyway, so Phoebe here. So historical distribution has been anywhere from 28 cents up to $1.18. Last month was 70 cents based on current IV at 75 cents, and our current short call premium received is only 49 cents here. If we look at the future estimate range, it's saying between 64 and 75 cents with an average, between 64 and 75 with an average of 70 cents. Phoebe stock has dropped a lot. And see, here's also where it's going to, you know, take a reason for highlighting earnings, because you don't know what's going to happen to these, right? Right now, we could be saying, oh, well, looking at, you know, what they've currently earned and looking, which isn't much, right? 49. And then at the bottom, you could tell this one's averaging 64, which is the lowest, right, out of all of these. And the fact that they've lost so much, you could think, well, this is probably going to be a low payout. But on some of these, not necessarily saying Meta's one of those, if you follow the trades and holdings, you'll see that some of these, they have given themselves room, or given the stocks room to grow on some of them, not all of them. Like, I think example could be, let me just give you an example because I don't know that this is the case still, because I haven't done the trades and holdings for today. But if coin was sitting at, you know, a stock price of 225, you know, they may have strike prices for their short calls at 275, you know, allowing for a $50 or whatever percentage of an increase that is based off of the, you know, the options market and the estimated range that these are going to move. So some of these may have more upside than they would normally have, just because they knew earnings was coming up, so they put those strike prices further out. So do keep that in mind. Again, I don't know that this stock is one of those stocks, but I do know last week there were several of them. In fact, I could tell by looking at the strike prices and the stock prices on some of them, I knew earnings was this week, if any of you watched any of the videos from last week, or the one video that at least the one that I was talking about it. But I could tell just based on that there was going to be earnings on some of those. So keep that in mind. And see, this is what I hate. If you already fast forwarded, you're going to miss this caveat here that I didn't think about mentioning at the beginning, so I apologize for those that don't hear me on this. But if you watch the Trades and Holdings, I'll mention it, assuming I get that video out tonight, which I don't know, it's not looking like it. It's almost 12:30 in the morning. But then I would, it'll be on that video if I can get it out. All right, so let's move on. So we have GDXY here. Of course, this was brand new. It's only had one payout, so of course the outstanding shares have increased, right? So we're up to almost 1.4 million outstanding shares. The stock has dropped 2%, but GDX has actually gone up 2%. So that doesn't look good there. And it's only had the one distribution, which was last month, of 80 cents. Right now, based on the IB, which is crazy because this market, with everything going up and down, you think the IBs would be high for everything. But anyway, based on the IB here, it's showing an estimate of about a 49-cent distribution. And so far it shows only earning about 36 cents a share at this point. So it's given us a future estimated range of 47 to 80 cents with an average of 59 cents. And then if we move on to GOOY, outstanding shares have increased 13%, and we're at 3.8 million. And then it looks like this one's dropped 10%, while Google or Alphabet dropped 9%, with the underlying doing better here. Historical distribution is 23 to 69 cents, with last month's distribution being 47 cents. Based on current IB, it estimates 36 cents, and current short call premium received today calculation is 26 cents. So future estimated range, we're looking at 34 to 47 cents with an average of 39 cents. JPMO here, outstanding shares have increased 8% to 1.3 million outstanding shares. Stocks only went, well, the stock's gone down 2%, but JP Morgan has actually gone up 2%. But both of these are still high rankings, 5 for JPMO and 3 for JPM. Historical distribution range is between 20 and 65 cents. Last month it was only 22 cents. Based on the current IB, it estimates 32 cents, but it shows that the current premium received so far has been 27 cents. Future estimated range is 22 to 36 cents. All right, so MRNY has earnings this week, or Moderna has earnings, which is before the market on Thursday. So Thursday morning. All right, so the outstanding shares have increased by 8%. The stock is actually gone up 5%, while Moderna has only gone up 4%. So this is a case of the underlying has actually done better than, the YieldMax ETF has done better than the underlying. Distribution range has been 41 cents to $2.65, and I believe that 265 was like the second distribution it had. So I think, and 41 might have been the first distribution it had. I don't remember, but it seems like that's the case. I'm so lucky that I have these sorted. Yeah, we can see right there the first and the second was the lowest and the highest distributions for MRNY. It's about to storm here. All right, but last month it was at 49 cents, which was on the low end. Of course, well, let's keep going. So based on the current IV, which shows 60%, again, though, we're going into earnings, but this is estimating right now 78 cents. Again, it's probably a little bit on the high side for the IV than normal. Then we have the short call premium here right now received so far. It's saying 61 cents has been received. If we look at the future range, it's going anywhere from 49 to 80 cents. So it looks like it's estimating the short call premium to be 80 cents by the end of the week. Which may be a little high just because, remember, at the beginning, our date was off by a day or two. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow, assuming I can get a video out tomorrow. And I can't promise that I will be able to. I'm in the office doing military stuff all week, and I know we have a band booster meeting for my daughter's school. But so this one's got going for it. It's actually gone up since last month. The bad thing it's got for it is this thing really tanked the month before. As you can see, we were down to $15. But again, we have earnings, so I'm not sure where we're going to end at there on earnings. But there was something else I was going to say. I just don't remember what it was. I think I was just going to point out the fact that the stock has actually gone up. So it wouldn't make sense to pay a really low distribution, like one of their record lows, like these were low. But again, we don't know. We're going to have to wait more on earnings there. So let's just move on here, which we have another earnings one again. MSFO. So let me see. Oh, sorry, I was going to pull it up on my phone, but I forgot to pull the thing up. So Microsoft. Okay, so it reports tomorrow after the close, Tuesday after close. So I keep saying tomorrow, but when you're watching this video, it's going to be today, because technically it's already today and I'm just still recording it. It's just slightly after midnight. So I apologize for that. That tends to happen because I record in the middle of the night. All right, so we've gone up 8% since the last ex-dividend date to almost 3.9 million outstanding shares. The stock MSFO has dropped 8%, almost $2, while Microsoft has dropped 7%. So it's done a little bit better, but these are still on the top 10. Historical distribution, 28 to 78 cents. Last month it was only 38 cents. Based on the current IV, again high due to earnings, I expect due to earnings, it estimates 54 cents. Based on the short call premium we've received so far, we're looking at 40 cents. If we look at the future estimated range, it's showing anywhere from 38 to 54 cents with an average of around 48 cents. And I don't even know if the stock's ever been below 20. It might have been up front, but we're getting close to that 20. And if they do the higher payout that they pay, it's might shove us under 19. Of course, again, waiting on earnings. So MSTY's outstanding shares have increased by 23%. The stock price for MSTY has increased 29%, and MicroStrategy stock price has increased 39%. So these are ranking 9, and I'm looking at this and thinking, how are they only ranking 9? Because that doesn't make sense to me. Which tells me I should check something somewhere, because something's not right. All these NAs is just because of where it's pulling from, so don't really worry about this sheet. That's why I copy and paste and over formula so it doesn't try to pull stuff. But we're looking for a MSTY. Yeah, so those rankings are not right. Alright, so these all still have formulas. Let me see And it may be because I was changing things yesterday, and that's why. Because this is still pulling from where I used to pull data from before. So I need to hide the rankings on here because that's not going to be accurate. Because this MSTY and MicroStrategy is number one. All right, so yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this now. It'll, again, it'll note a few things as I was trying to make updates and change things. Not necessarily change, the way I gather the data or anything like that here necessarily that you're saying, but some background changes to try to make so I don't have so many links to external things, because I think it's slowing down my workbook and it's making it longer for things to download. So I was just trying to clean up instead of, like, if I'm trying to pull the IV from a website, I'm not trying to pull it in 10 different tabs. I can pull it on one tab and then everything can look up to that one tab, basically. For those that you are spreadsheet nerds like me, that's what I was working on. Alright, so, okay. So historical range here is 233 to 413. However, know that 413 was like the very first one. It's possible that might have been more than a month or a month and a half, you know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind there. Last month's distribution was $2.33, and as you can see, that is the lowest that it has paid. Based on current IV, it's looking at $2.26. Sorry. So this one also has earnings this week. It is not on the Earnings Whisper spreadsheet or sheet. Let me look real quick again, though, just to make sure that I didn't oversee it. It is not, which is interesting because it wasn't last time either. However, all of my things. Oh, I was in here. That's what it was. And then I saw something. I was in here and I could see, it tells me right here that the earnings is August 1st. They weren't reported on that last time. So I don't know what made me, I don't know. I think I was in here looking to see what was going on with the stock and I saw that. So even though it's not on that earnings whisper sheet, it wasn't last time, but it is showing here that they are going to report. And I don't know if if I click on here, it's just going to add it to my calendar. I think I clicked on something here in the news and it showed me. I could be wrong. Oh, I clicked on the thing above it where it said earnings previews. Yeah, it tells me here that it is post-market on the 1st. So now that we have that colored, so that will have earnings as well. Of course, I think most of us can agree that we know, this stock is moving based on Bitcoin because of them, moving to Bitcoin. Not necessarily based on what the company itself does. But, okay, so I almost forgot that one, the earnings. I was on IV, based on the IV, $2.26. Now, if you look here, this right here is showing that we've received $3.30 for in premiums so far. And that would be based on 3 weeks. So I don't know if it was if it's been 3 Fridays or 4 Fridays. And actually, the ex-dividend date was a Friday. So we've actually gone through 4 Fridays. Of course, if they did half, they did half the trades on the 3rd, because the 4th is a holiday, and half on the 5th, it still wouldn't give us the full. But in this case, this looks like we're going to have 5 Fridays here. So it makes sense for this to have its premium. Sorry, I'm moving. I feel like I keep putting my hand on the bottom of my iPad, and I think that's where the microphone is, so I'm trying to adjust to try not to do that. So that makes sense why this one, could be increased. What seems to be significant payout, but it's just the nature of this one, right? The stock itself has gone up $7. Dang it. I'm sorry. And they've received that much in premium, so this one looks like it's going to have a decent payout. Of course, depends on what Bitcoin does the rest of the week, right? But of course, I don't know. A lot of people say it's about to take off, and I've been thinking that for weeks, and I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I know I saw before I opened this morning, the stock was like at 18, or MicroStrategy was like at 18.30 something, and I almost put in an order to sell some of my MicroStrategy, and I didn't. And the next thing I know, we were freaking under 1,700. But anyway, so looking at the future range down there at the bottom, you see that it's looking at 2.26 to 4.33 with an average of $2.98. Yeah, I would expect them to pay, maybe closer, more than $3, right? Based on just looking at that, if they've actually received $3.30. Of course, again, if the outstanding shares increase several million in the next few days, then, that could dilute that, right? The payout. So it could go down, but based on just looking at this moment, the data we have, the outstanding shares we have, I could see this possibly paying $4. Or around, $4, above $3, but maybe up to even $4. So anyway, let's move on. Netflix here, these actually reported earnings already, and it looks like this stock has gone down 4%. I'm sorry, the outstanding shares have gone down 4% to almost 3.3, just shy of 3.3 million. The stock itself has dropped 88 cents or 5%, but Netflix has dropped 8%. I guess, due to earnings and the stock market, right, dropping, or its pullback, or whatever we want to call it, the past few weeks. Because I remember, now that I think about it, I remember the earnings, because I was able to actually get a share of Netflix at 600, I think one at least, at 600, and then it bounced up to 640, 650, and then apparently now we're down to 626. Things haven't quit. But Netflix has done better than Netflix here. Historical distribution range is 38 cents to $1.26, and last month's distribution was the lowest payout for Netflix at 38 cents. Based on current IV of 28%, we're looking at an estimate of 38 cents. And then based on the short call premium we received, though, this is saying we've received 53 cents. If we look at our estimated range at the bottom, it says we're looking at a range of 38 cents to 69 cents. See, this really, now that I think about this Friday thing, this really makes me wish I'd already changed his future estimated range, because we've had four Fridays, and we're fixing to have another one. If we were looking at that 53 cents in 4 Fridays, I don't know, what's that, 12 cents? We added 12, 65. This is estimated about 69. So it's still just a few cents off. So that's not too big of a deal, I guess. But I don't know. I guess I just like it to be closer if possible. But it's estimating 69 cents right now. I am going to make this red to see if I can take the time to change that formula. I think I started here. I'm going to make this red too. I guess I was going to put in a formula. I just don't know how much time I have. You know, if I take time to do something for one thing, it's taking time away from doing something other things. So it just depends, right? All right. Anyway, so let's move on here. We have MRNY here. The outstanding shares on this one has increased 36% since last ex-dividend date. That is a lot. MRNY has dropped 9%, but NVIDIA has dropped 12%. Historical range here for the distributions have been 42 cents and $2.62. Now, last month, they paid $2.47. I had down that they did not earn that, and I honestly did not expect them to pay that, but they did. And I don't really know why. But the fact that, you know, the stock price here has not recovered from that, and NVIDIA is still dropping, I don't know that they'll do that again this month. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe they'll be like, well, it's still above 20 and, you know, people are loving this one, and maybe they'll pay it again. I really think they had just paid out the 247 last month because it was similar to several of the other months. And they were trying to keep it about the same. So let's just look here real quick. NVIDIA. Yeah, so you can see out of 4 out of those 5 months how they were all very close. You know, May was the outlier in the last 5 months. So, you know, again, they could be like, well, we're still above 20. We're $5 and something above 20. We're still looking good. You know, this is what they want. If NVIDIA keeps falling, they're eventually going to have to stop doing that, right? So, again, last month I didn't show them earning that, but they paid it. Right now, I'm showing that they've only earned 90 cents. If we look at the future range down here, it's showing it's only estimating for them to earn $1.19. So that gives us that $1.19 to $2.47 range, which is what they paid last month, with an average of $1.67. So lots of information there. You can look at that many different ways. But in the end, we know they can do whatever they want to do, right? All right. So let's look at OARC. So this one, its outstanding shares has gone down 8%. OARC, though, its stock price has actually gone up, and it's gone up 2%, while ARC's only gone up 1%, so it's done better there. As far as distribution, 24 cents to $1.09. Just keep in mind that $1.09 was way back at the beginning, like a year and a half ago, right, when it first came out. However, I think the month before that, it did pay out a decent one, which I was shocked. I don't know if it was that one or Tesla. I think it was that one. But anyway, moving on. IV estimate here, 32 cents based off the IV, course, this is showing that they've received 31 cents already for the month. So at the bottom, if we look at the future, it's showing an estimated range of 25 to 41 cents. So it must be estimating 41 cents for next week. But if we do that rule of 4 Fridays and, we're coming up on the 5th, it may not be that. It may only be, it may be a few cents. It's still only a few cents lower. But anyway, that gives us, that down there at the bottom gives an average of 32 cents. All right, so pay here. PayPal reports tomorrow. Let me pull it up here. Tomorrow morning. So I did see something that said that PayPal was reporting today after the bell. It was somebody else's thing, but it did not. I don't like morning reporting because that means I have to be up. I prefer trading after the market closes on these. Pre-market earnings on the 30th, and it's the 30th. So yeah, pre-market here in a few hours. This one will be reporting. So it'll probably report before you ever see this video. This does show that the shares have gone up slightly, but not even enough to give us a percentage, a whole percentage. The stock itself has actually gone up 1%, while PayPal has gone down 1%. Historical range here for distributions has been 43 to 94 cents, with last month being that historical low of 43 cents. Current IV estimates 63 cents, again, earnings, so IV is inflated right now. And then the short call premium received so far is 44 cents. If we look down here, our range doesn't change for between current and future. Showing both are showing 43 to 63 cent range, but a different average, with the future average being 55 cents. We'll see how this one does on earnings tomorrow. Then we have Snowy here. Obviously, this one's new, so outstanding shares have increased. We're at 925,000 shares currently. However, Snowy has dropped almost a couple of dollars by 9%, which is actually a little bit better than the 9% that Snowflake has dropped. It's only had one distribution, 93 cents, which was last month. Based on the current IV, it shows an estimate of $1.03. However, this shows the short call premium received on these so far has only been 43 cents. So that doesn't look good. And so also, with these, not a lot of historical data with some of these newer ones, so it's really hard to know. And those outstanding shares that can jump so quick. But the future range there, we're looking at 56 cents to $1.03. Of course, probably going to be closer. You would think it would be closer to the actual premium received based on the short history here, which it looks like it's estimating around 56 cents. So again, we'll see. Has an average of 84 cents. Then we have SQUE here. So block reports, as a reminder, Thursday after the close. Outstanding shares shows green, but not enough for a whole percentage. SQUE has dropped 6%, while block has dropped 5%. Historical distribution range is 38 cents to $2.15. $2.15, I think, was either the first or the second distribution. I feel like it was the second, so it was near the beginning. Last month, the distribution was 70 cents. Current IV, again, earnings this week, so inflated, but it shows it would be about 97 cents. Current short call premium received is showing 76 cents. Our future estimated range is saying 70 cents to $1. So I'm guessing it is guessing we'll earn another 24 or so cents there. It shows the average of 89 cents. All right, so Tesla here, believe it or not, the shares have gone up. Outstanding shares have gone up 12% since last distribution. Looks like the stock, both of these have dropped 7%. Tesla apparently being green, doing a little better than Tesla. Historical distribution 64 cents to 213. However, just a reminder, this is split adjusted, so it didn't actually pay 213. And those higher payouts were back at the very beginning. However, they did pay a distribution of $1 last month. Based on current IV, it's showing only about 65 cents. However, we're showing the premium received so far has been 83 cents a share. So in our range at the bottom, we have 65 to $1.09. So apparently it's estimating we would have about $1.09 short call premium received by next week. And then it has an average of 91 cents. And then I have these here just to be able to have them side by side. We have Crash here with 675,000 outstanding shares, increase of 23%. And distribution 82 to 95 cents. So I guess it's just been 2 distributions there. Last month being the 82 cents. So let's just check those being exactly the same. Just makes me curious, and they're somewhat new. Of course, it's not gonna, the data's not pulling right there right now. So, but this is showing based on IV, 61 cents, and based on the short call premium received 61 cents. So it's showing now a future distribution of 61 to 82 cents. Now, one thing again, just a reminder, I mentioned at the beginning, this does not include the long call premium in this distribution, in this premium received amount. So that's going to be a little bit more. Maybe sometime in the future I will adjust this formula, but it has not been done so yet. All right, so we have a future range of about 61 to 82 cents with an average of about 74 cents here. So again, you probably could just estimate that it's going to be a few cents higher than what this shows. And then we have Zomo here. So outstanding shares have increased by 5%. These stocks have actually gone up. I don't know why they're red as far as I don't know why the percentages are red, but you can see the dollar. Zomo's gone up 7 cents, and ExxonMobil's gone up $1.49. Historical distribution is 19 to 41 cents here, with the last distribution being 19 cents. It's lowest. Based on current IV, we're looking at 34 cents. It's showing here that is actually received 33 cents in short call premium. Future range is right there with 19 to 40. 19 to 44 cent range with an average of 32 cents. Apologize for that cough there. And then we have YBit here. Its outstanding shares have increased 56%. YBIT has gone up 7%, while BITO has gone up 20%. Historical distribution, $1.22 to $1.37. I believe it's only paid out to. Last month being $1.22. Based on current IB, it's 83-cent average. Short call premium received so far is only 64. If we look at the future estimated range, it's saying 83 to $1.22 with an average of about 96 cents. All right, I know that was a lot of information, and I'll go in the next few days. I'll try to, well, I won't try, but I'll see what things that I can get updated. I already updated those days, so that'll be one thing fixed. And then I won't go through all of this data again, right? We'll basically be looking at, well, one, if we had earnings, I guess we'll look at those if we had any significant changes there. And then we'll just really be looking at the future range where we're at on our short call premium and that future range there. And then, I don't know, we'll see if, I think before I was also looking to see if outstanding shares had increased significantly from the days before or not. But yeah, we won't go through this whole thing again. This is just done for the initial video, or usually the weekly videos that I usually do on the weekends that haven't been done well, or good through these last couple of summer months. But anyway, I want to let y'all go, and if you've made it this far, congratulations and thank you for your support. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.